Hi everyone. Home audio is really a fashion business, and these AV surround sound receivers are not in style right now. And I know that because you can find so many of them sitting unloved on the shelves of thrift stores at rock bottom prices, whilst their silver-faced cousins are fetching top dollar at vintage stereo specialist stores. One of the reasons they're so cheap is that manufacturers are always adding new features to the latest models, making the old ones seem obsolete. But they are well made and have decades of life left in them, and they have sound quality comparable to expensive hi-fi amplifiers. So updating them rather than replacing them makes a lot of sense. I'll show you 3 ways to add Wi-Fi music streaming to these supposedly obsolete receivers. Wi-Fi will let you play music from a music provider like Spotify or Tidal using your phone as a controller. You can also play music for free from a computer or a NAS on your network, and just like a subscription music service, you select and control the tracks you want using your phone. Now I'm already expecting the comment, why don't you just use Bluetooth? Bluetooth was designed for telephone calls. You won't get the kind of sound quality that these powerful receivers are capable of. And then who wants their music interrupted by an email alert blasting from your speakers? Wi-Fi is just better. Different generations of receiver have different types of input connections, so I'll show you 3 easy, inexpensive ways to add Wi-Fi, and at least one of them will be right for any receiver. Your receiver has HDMI inputs, then one very inexpensive way to add Wi-Fi music streaming is to use a video streamer. That's right, use a video streamer with no TV attached for streaming audio only. Any Chromecast, Android TV, or Fire TV stick can work with any phone as the controller without using a TV. Roku devices and Apple TVs work like that with iPhones, but not Android. This On TV streaming stick is only $15. It has Chromecast built in, and you can add AirPlay for Apple phones using the $3 Air Receiver app. The reason it's so cheap is it can't do 4K video, but that doesn't matter at all for a music streamer. Other than low cost, another advantage of using a video streamer is you can play the audio track from any YouTube video, which is something you can't do with an audio-only streamer. And if you've lost the remote control for the receiver, the remotes that come with Android TV or Fire TV streamers will control your receiver too. The only disadvantage of using a video streamer for just audio is that you have to plug it into a TV to set it up because the guided setup needs a screen. Once it's plugged into an open HDMI port on any TV, just follow the step-by-step instructions. When the streamer setup is complete, download and open the Air Receiver app. Once open, it asks if you want to allow the app to access music and audio. That's the whole point of this, so click Allow. Then it asks if you want the app to access photos and videos, which doesn't matter, so I selected Don't Allow. Then it asks if we want to give it permission to display over other apps. This one is important. We need to allow this, so click on Setting and turn the slider switch next to Air Receiver to the on position. Push the back button on the remote to get back to the main screen, then push it again to exit the app. Before the app closes, it asks if we want to just exit or run in the background. We need to select Run in the background. And that's it, the setup is finished. Once the stream is set up, unplug it from the TV and plug it into one of the HDMI inputs of the receiver. In this case, we'll use the DVD input. Since we're doing just stereo, our left and right speakers are plugged into the front left and front right speaker terminals. The other terminals are left unconnected. If you've just bought a used receiver, there are thousands of possible combinations of previous settings, so it's best to clear them all with a full reset to avoid confusion. To reset this Sony receiver that I bought at a thrift store, or as you would say in England, a charity shop, first plug it in and turn it on with the front panel power button. Then push the power button again to turn it off. Then push and hold the power button for 5 seconds and you'll get a confirming message on the front display. All the brands of receivers are different, so just Google the model number of your receiver along with the words factory reset. Once the receiver is reset and turned on, select the input we plug the streamer into and we're ready to play. We can go to any audio app on our phone and look for the AirPlay symbol on an iPhone or the cast symbol on Android. Select the streamer, push play, and the music will play on our speakers. Some apps like Spotify or Tidal have their own casting symbol. It looks like a little speaker. You use it in the same way as Cast or AirPlay. The next method for adding Wi-Fi to receivers that don't have HDMI inputs is to use the optical input. You can still use a video streamer, and for this you'll need an HDMI audio extractor. A cheap one like this is fine because you don't need to pass 4K video. Use the optical output of the adapter to connect to your receiver. If you don't want to bother with using a TV for setup, a dedicated audio streamer only needs your phone. This Arylic LP10 is a good choice for this because it's the cheapest music streamer that has both AirPlay and Chromecast. Don't use the analog audio output from either an audio extractor or the LP10. The sound from these outputs isn't nearly as good as you will get from a direct optical connection to the receiver. Receivers that don't have HDMI or optical also don't have a built-in DAC. The DAC is a component that has a big effect on the sound quality of streaming music, so the music streamer for this type of receiver needs to have its own good DAC. I showed how to build this simple DIY streamer with an upgraded DAC in my last video, and I'll put a link in the description for that. You can use the Arylic LP10, but I recommend pairing it with a better sounding DAC than the one that's built in. The SMSL PS100 works well for this. Connect the LP10 to the PS100 optical input and connect the RCA outputs to any open RCA input on the receiver. Either CD or aux is a good choice for an input. Old receivers have many capabilities beyond simple stereo, but I don't want to overcomplicate things. An old receiver and a Wi-Fi streamer will provide you with an incredibly good stereo system for an incredibly small price. I paired my thrift store receiver and on-TV streaming stick with a pair of Dayton Audio Classic B65 speakers. This complete stereo system cost me just $120 and sounds fantastic. If you like this video, then give me a thumbs up and subscribe. If you buy anything from the product links in the description, it won't cost you any more, but the small commission helps to support the channel and is much appreciated. Thanks for watching, everyone.